Okay, y'all, I'm here. Give me a sec. Shit. Okay, there we go. And I just need to do boop. There we go. Hello, my name is Tamashi, and all I gotta say is TamaDays. I'm a grumpy Latina VTuber who lives in Japan, and I'm a political commentator, guys. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Ali, for being first. And thank you as well to Ali for checking in. Thank you, NHK, for checking in. 30 times, that's crazy. You just need 3 more to get the 33 that we all love here. And thank you, Careless, for also getting second. And wow, Ali has checked in 38 times. That's kind of insane. And also for checking in 7 times. Thank you. Thank you very much. The noises are lagging or something. I'm not hearing. The noises lagged really bad, didn't they? I just noticed. Ay, ay, ay. Mama. I guess it's fine. But here we are. It's in your head? Really? You guys can't hear them? I heard them. But you know, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I guess it's just a thing we'll figure out eventually. I can't hear the music. Oh, well, now I hear that though. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Oh my gosh, thank you for the head pats, Allie. Thank you very much. There we go. I'm gonna add this to the thingy here. Oh, and thank you, Cynthia, for being third. Congratulations, by the way. Y gracias. Gracias. We got our first, second, and third here already. Let's fucking go, Chata. Thank you for checking in. Give me a sec here to compose myself. I'm kinda... Ooh, I don't know. I'm a bit winded. Not winded. How do you say that word? I don't know. Give me a sec. Remove. Yes, remove this. Okay. Let's try it again. Let's try it again. Hello, my name is Tamashi, and all I gotta say is TamaDays. I'm a grumpy Latina VTuber who lives in Japan, and I'm a political commentator. I do TamaTalks Tuesdays and TamaTalks Thursdays twice a week, where I speak on issues that matter to me and should matter to you, and that's what we're gonna do today. Although it's fucking Friday, my bad. Things have been not going well, IRL. And this is actually my final week streaming. That is right. I'm going to go on an indefinite hiatus because I basically got laid off from my job, and I'm also getting kicked out from where I'm living. And I'm currently in the process of moving while also working at a place that really does not like me anymore. So mentally, I'm just going insane a little bit. Yeah. But it's fine, you know. Enough about me. We're going to talk about something more important, which is Venezuela. This is actually very serious. And after learning more about what's going on over there, not currently, but in the past, and we've talked about Venezuela before, especially after they got bombed by the US. It was pretty fucking terrible. I could not understand how things led up to that fucking point. But you know, it is what it is. It happened. We learned a bit about Venezuela, but now we're gonna, you know, delve deeper into why it's at the place that it's at right now. Okay, guys. Have an exam tomorrow, so I'll be lurking, Tama. No, thank you, Cynthia, for the lurk. Thank you very much. Okay, chat. Sorry, I'm just a bit stressed right now. I haven't eaten as well. Here, let me take a piece of bread. And I have some tea. Can you guys remind me to drink some tea? I don't like warm drinks, but I know that will help me relax. Okay. So, let's get started with it. Right here, right now. Guys, where is it? So, Venezuela on I believe the 29th of June, chat. The 29th of June, Venezuela got hit not by one earthquake, but fucking 2 earthquakes, chat. Simultaneously in the span of 39 seconds. Now, these weren't little earthquakes, by the way. These aren't like, things that you typically feel every day. I mean, especially for me, when I got here in Tokyo, I mean, not in Tokyo. Well, I mean, I landed in Tokyo. Shit, I'm already doxing myself somehow. When I landed in Tokyo in Japan, when I first got here, I was getting earthquakes every day in this big ass building because it was during quarantine and I had to be in a building for at least 2 weeks. So they would be sure that I wouldn't infect anyone with COVID. I was on the very top of that fucking building every day. Every day I would have an earthquake in Tokyo, but there were little tiny ones, 4 to 5. I mean, technically speaking, those aren't tiny, but for Japan, from what they're used to, 3 to 5, it's not something that's too big. Okay? I was literally getting shaken up. And listen here, they got a 7.2 and a 7.5 magnitude earthquakes on Wednesday. Again, June 29th. Those are pretty fucking huge. Now, I just said that, oh yeah, Japan doesn't have big earthquakes. Okay, I'm a fucking dumbass for saying that. I'm realizing that Japan's buildings are strictly manufactured to withstand earthquakes, okay? They're not just gonna immediately topple down. They actually sway. They sway along with the quakes. So when Venezuela gets hit with 2 earthquakes, both huge ones, 7.2 and 7.5, in 39 seconds, it's gonna do a lot of damage if those buildings aren't built to withstand big ass earthquakes like that. Twice, 2 of them in the matter of less than a minute, by the way, less than a fucking minute. So, right here, some have told the BBC that they can hear people under the rubble but cannot move the heavy slabs of concrete and are waiting anxiously for heavy machinery. The thing is, chap, is that within these 39 seconds, it almost collapsed 800 buildings. In 39 seconds, 800 buildings just gone, just like that. That's fucking terrifying. Okay? And it should show you how bad it was. Oh god, no, yeah, it's way bad. And I'm pretty surprised, I don't know, can you guys tell me? It wasn't a big thing being talked about when it first happened. Okay, the only reason why I found out about it is because I follow some Venezuelan artists, and that's how I found out around the time that it happened. But it wasn't something immediately being spoken about until, a week after. Pretty late, in my opinion. And of course, these news outlets are talking about it. But I feel, I don't know. I feel like a lot of Westerners aren't taking it as serious. 800 buildings just destroyed in 39 seconds is fucking insane. And this is by the BBC, by the way. You guys can't see the logo here, but this is an article by the BBC. And of course, without food or water, especially if you're trapped under rubble, you only have about 2 days to survive without water and without food at the same time. Guys, it's been a fucking week already. It's been like 8 days, over a week. Okay. And when was this published? This was published 4 days ago. So the 72-hour window has now passed. Rescuers have said people could still be found alive, especially if they had access to food and or water. But without those who don't have access to that, guys, we're seeing, probably not even hundreds, but thousands of people dying. Okay? Dying because of this. One thing that I definitely want to talk about here, let me see. Let me get my notes out. Not I want to talk about, but I actually want to show you guys the aftermath of how, not the aftermath, but there's actually video footage of different angles of people running away, of people giving their testimonies and all that stuff. Buildings being destroyed the moment this happened. And I want you guys to watch that to see how catastrophic these 2 fucking earthquakes were. I think it's something like 3 weeks without food, 3 days without water, and 3 minutes without air. That's how long a normal person can survive. Well, actually, 3 minutes without air is interesting in the sense that, I mean, maybe if it's like a Guinness Book of World Record person trying to do it, fine. But without absolute oxygen going to the brain for at least 2 to 5 minutes, if you don't have oxygen for around 2 to 5 minutes, you will be brain dead. So even if you do survive, you will most likely be brain dead. 3 weeks without food, that's pretty interesting. I mean, it depends on the person, of course. Like me, I'm pretty chubby. I got really fat recently. After going to the doctors, they told me I gained a lot of weight, which sucks. But yeah, if I were to, be stranded somewhere, my fat would help me stay alive longer if I had water. Now, well, the thing is, water, I heard, is like, 2 to 3 days. But when you combine no water and no food, the likelihood of surviving that goes really, really low. Really, really low. Natural disasters. No, yeah, natural disasters. And the thing is, it's not only the natural disaster that has, put Venezuela in this position where they're suffering, right? Venezuela has been suffering for years and years. And now they basically are even more fucked. It's pretty insane. I'm going to talk about it as I go on. But first, let's look at the footage of the catastrophe that happened basically last week. Give me a sec. I turned on the music at the wrong time. But here's a footage on TikTok. This I've been getting recommendations on TikTok now. I barely use that thing, but now I am. So viewer discretion is advised. Let's see what's on here. Okay. I can barely hear this thing. Man, can I zoom in? Here, I'll zoom in for you guys here. Is it F2? Okay, here we go. And I have a bunch of likes, my bad. Let me hide that. That's inappropriate. Okay. So, tell me if you guys can even hear the audio, actually. Now that I think about it, you probably cannot. That's not what I pressed. Venezuela. Okay. So this is a lady saying that she is devastated because she lost her daughter during the earthquake.
I lost my daughter, my grandson, and my granddaughter, who was due to be born in a month. Please help me find my daughter and see if she's under the rubble.
I can barely hear this.
The twin earthquakes
Oh, there we go.
hit like a double punch. Tonight, new video of the moments Venezuela.
Damn, why is it lagging? Oh my god, shit.
I lost my...
It's lagging so bad, huh, chat? How's the stream, by the way? Yeah, why is it lagging that bad? I'm streaming on like 4 different platforms though, so that makes sense, but...
My daughter, my grandson, and my granddaughter, who was due to be born in a month. Please help me find my daughter and see if she's under the rubble, please.
The twin earthquakes hit like a double punch.
Shit,
Tonight,
I don't...
new video of the moments Venezuela began falling apart.
That is insane. I don't know why the fuck... Is TikTok like that usually, chat? It's lagging so bad for me. The TikTok website. Stream is doing good. No. Huh, it's me then. Man, this was a good video. I didn't want to show it through TikTok too. I wanted to find a YouTube video, but YouTube hasn't been really recommending me Venezuelan, like, stuff that's happening in Venezuela. I don't know if it's like a suppression of you know, they're trying to hide something or whatever, but when I try to search things on Venezuela, specifically of the disaster, it wasn't showing me shit. It was only showing me Fox News, now that I remember. That's why I kind of didn't want to watch it, because I know Fox News is not a reliable news source. It's more of a political commentary source. They've admitted that themselves, that they are basically a show rather than a reliable news source, which I thought was really weird, but you guys might understand why later on in the stream. I'll try this again,
The twin earthquakes
but I don't understand why it's fucking lagging. So
hit like a double punch.
yeah, it's really bad.
Tonight, new video of the moments Venezuela began falling apart.
Oh, I can do full screen.
Just as the
Yeah.
shaking stopped from the first quake,
Yeah, I give up.
the second one
TikTok sucks. Okay, TikTok sucks. I'm sorry. That was terrible. But you guys get the picture. Wait. Is that my fucking phone? I deleted that alarm. What the fuck? I don't take those no more, man. Sorry, y'all. This is a terrible stream. This is like my final TamaTalks before my hiatus, and I'm doing such a shit job. I'm so sorry. But let's see. Basically, let's hear what witnesses have to say. See, this is working fine. It's literally the fucking TikTok website. Okay, so this is from CBS News. This is a lady describing what happened to her. A Venezuelan mother described the unimaginable pain of losing her 12-year-old son in last week's devastating twin earthquakes. Dora Hernandez told CBS News Camilo her son Erid was trapped deep beneath the rubble for more than a day before rescuers recovered his body. Damn. It was only a... No, he was obviously crushed then. That's so sad. Which she then took to the morgue herself. What? Wait, I paused at a wrong time. Let me read that again. Person Herid was trapped deep beneath the rubble for more than a day before rescuers recovered his body, which she then took to the morgue herself. Despite her loss, Hernandez returned to the disaster zone to continue searching for her brother, aunts, and grandmother, who are still missing. That's insane. Oh my god. That's fucking insane. Okay, we gotta hear her testimony, chat. Man, god damn it. That makes me sad, man. Okay. Imagine being in those buildings. Well, you don't have to. It's been recorded before, but you're doing your best, Tama. Yeah, I'll do my best. Hope you're okay. Yeah, this is my last Tama Talks, Kaizen. And tomorrow's my last stream before my hiatus. Just letting y'all know, but thank you for the good wishes. Let's hear what she has to say, though. Boop. Okay, I will read what she says. The moment I got out, I grabbed my younger son and my mother, and we ran. Obviously, we fell, and the rubble fell on top of us. I was the only one who managed to get out in that moment. My oldest son never made it out. He was still upstairs, and I lost him. He was 12 years. He was trapped so deeply beneath the rubble, so they were only able to recover him 24 or 28 hours later. Yesterday, I came here myself to retrieve my son's body, and I took him myself to the morgue in Caracas. I didn't finish there until 2:30 in the morning, and then I came straight back here to keep searching for my brother, my aunts, and my grandmother. They were here in the building, but I still haven't found them. This is where they found my little boy. This was our kitchen, my son's bedroom, and our living room. This was the kitchen. This was the roof of my house. Help has arrived, mostly people, but the heavy machinery needed to rescue those still trapped hasn't arrived. I think I'm still in shock because I still don't understand what happened. No, I haven't had time. Look, this happened the day of the earthquake. It was only just now that some nurses treated my wounds because I haven't had time to stop and take care of myself. I've been busy, I'm alone, so I've been going here and there, searching for my brother and my family, going here, going there. It's just so hard and difficult. So this woman hasn't had time to even take care of herself, her own wounds, until recently. And one thing that you guys probably noticed her mentioning is that there is no adequate machinery, or at least enough of it, to help these people who are trapped under the rubble to get out, basically. When her son was crushed, he was there for a day, and it took them a whole last day to get him out. But without the machinery, stuff like this would be way quicker. As of right now, a lot of people are doing things with their own hands, with their own shovels, with their dogs, rescue dogs, and help from foreign aid, I suppose. But think about that, chat. Just think about it. Doesn't that sound familiar? How come these people don't have enough machinery to be able to pull people out of the rubble? Okay, if you just by looking at the scenes here, and I think it's inappropriate for people to say this, but I can see why people are saying it. People are making inappropriate comparisons to Venezuela looking like Gaza right now. Okay, everything, again, 800 buildings in 39 seconds were destroyed by these double earthquakes. But Huh. Guys, why would you think they don't have machinery? Like, what's the only value, like, obvious, not obvious, but what's the only explanation that you guys can think of as to why Venezuela doesn't have machinery to be able to pull these people out of the rubble? Like, look, they have buildings, big buildings. Wouldn't it make sense that they have machinery? Huh. Think about it. Think about it. Just keep that in mind, okay? Keep it in mind. So we saw someone's a testimony of, you know, what happened. And to get even more personal and sad, I saw this video that really touched my heart. If you are Latino or Latina, and if you were raised in a household of Latinos or Hispanics, the culture of being very religious, either Catholic or Christian, is very strong in our culture. And you know, to pay our respects, to have hope in saving our loved ones, we usually you know, have a prayer. And this is a very sad prayer that I stumbled upon on Twitter. So his name is George. He lost his 3 sons, his ex-wife, and his how do you say nietos? His nieces. Is that how you say that? Not nieces. How do you say nietos? In this earthquake. How do you say nietos, chat? Not nieces. Well, is it? Oh wait, there's a translation here. Grandchildren, dumbass. I'm sorry. Okay. His name is George. He lost his 3 kids. His 3 kids, his wife, right? His ex-wife and his grandchildren in the earthquake. Before praying for him, he asked us for something that left us in awe, in silence. He didn't want materialistic help or money. He just wanted a hug, a strong hug, a gesture for how do you say that word? For comfort. God, I was so close. I'm gonna take forever trying to translate this on my own. He just wanted just a tight hug, a gesture of comfort. He also told us to cherish our families while they are alive, that they are the most important thing. He asked us to tell them every day, at every moment, how much we love them. Stories like his repeat by thousands in La Guardia. Today, with a heavy heart, I raise a prayer to the God of heaven to strengthen this man and all those who are going through such profound losses. We trust in him. And it's just really sad.
Señor, dale fortaleza.
Yeah.
Fortalécele, Señor. Fortalécele. Tu palabra dice que tú le das fuerza al que está cansado y multiplicas al que no tiene ninguna. Señor, hoy venimos acá en representación tuya para decirle a él que no está solo.
He's praying.
Señor, lo bendigo.
We're here, Lord, to tell him that he's not alone.
Gracias porque a través de este testimonio y a
Thank
través de
you,
su
because
prueba,
despite
tú nos estás hablando
this
a
testimony and this trial,
a través de esta tribulación que él está atravesando, tú nos estás hablando que debemos
you are talking to us that we are supposed to love our families, to appreciate them, to love them, and appreciate what we have. It's basically a prayer. He's just praying to him and stuff. My inner Tamas were trying not to translate because I'm not religious anymore, but it's just like, I feel like that's rude to even feel that way. But basically, he's just giving a prayer to God and you know, basically giving comfort to this man who literally lost almost his whole family. And I guess I don't know if he has anything left, but he just needs a lot of comfort right now. And you can see it in his face, how much he's suffering and how deep his sorrow is. It's a very sad, a sad prayer. Now, this is even a more intense, article from CNN, and this was on July 1st. This was also about 3 days ago for me. But the title reads, "The smell of death lingers in Venezuela's ruined streets as overwhelmed hospitals race to save lives." So this article, when I was reading it, I was, not like I was surprised, but I was just astonished at how much these people are criticizing. Not astonished, but like, these people aren't receiving the adequate help that they need by their own government, okay? When Maduro was captured, and I don't like the guy, okay? A lot of white people were praising that guy way too fucking much. It's fucking weird, chat, okay? If you guys don't know anything about, like, these Latin American leaders, a lot of them are fucking assholes and pieces of shits. I remember as a kid, as a child, okay, looking at the news and seeing Maduro literally dancing, like, in front of a camera. He's just dancing, having the greatest time of his life, while people are protesting in the streets, being beat up by cops, and being silenced for demanding a better life and better resources for their people. And this guy really seemed like he never gave a fuck. Okay, so I don't like Maduro. But I also don't like the US, bombing a country, capturing their leader, and pretending like they're saving the world just to steal Venezuela's oil and send it to Israel because they wanted to start a war in Iran, and they knew Iran was going to close the Strait of Hormuz, okay, making it impossible for Israel to get oil. How do you fix that? Well, you steal Venezuela's oil, and Venezuela, being anti-Israel at some point, now is forced to, make business with Israel. Hi. Oh, hi, Jonathan Paris. And so, again, you can see these people always criticizing their own government. So, again, this is in Caracas, Venezuela. Since this is an article, let me turn on the playlist here a little bit. Venezuela was broken long before two back-to-back earthquakes ripped the country from its foundations last Wednesday. The effects of more than a decade of government mismanagement and economic sanctions are clear at Dr. Jose Manuel de los Rios Children's Hospital in Caracas, where Dr. Uñades Urbina Medina can treat only 4 children at a time in the intensive unit. Are you kidding me? 4 kids? That's insane. He says, "We once could receive up to 10 patients in the ICU," Urbina Medina said. But since at least 10 years ago, okay, before the earthquakes, remember chat, before the earthquakes, since 10 years ago, we don't have enough personnel, we don't have enough medicines, we don't have enough mechanical ventilators. One of the 4 patients receiving treatment is a 12-year-old girl who was crushed under several floors of a collapsed building. She's in agony with numerous life-threatening injuries. Okay, roughly 100 children have been treated elsewhere in the hospital since last week, a fraction of those injured in the earthquakes. The Venezuelan government has updated the casualty toll from the earthquake only incrementally. Currently, it stands at more than 1,900 people dead, over 10,000 injured, which citizens and experts fear is a major undercount. That is an undercount because I've heard that there's over like 40,000 people injured and more missing. That's what I heard. So, there's not enough medical equipment. There's not enough, equipment to excavate and help look for people trapped under the rubble. And now, somehow, the government is, doing a huge undercount of people missing and dying in Venezuela. Just keep that in mind and keep thinking about it. So the U.S. Geological Survey has said there's a high chance that the magnitude 7.2 and 7.5 earthquakes have killed tens of thousands of people. We may never learn the true count. When a similar tragedy struck the state of La Guaria in 1999, the government never released an official death toll. Why? Why aren't they releasing that? It's just a lot of things being kept from these people. And I guess the knowledge of those actually dying is not being released outside of Venezuela. Very interesting. On Monday, Ecuadorian rescuers said they had pulled a 12-year-old boy alive from the rubble in La Guaria state, but rescuers are expected to become increasing rare now that so-called golden window for survival after an earthquake has passed. Again, the golden window is 72 hours, okay? And it's already been a week. The government has extended school closures, and preliminary information suggests that 432 schools in Caracas alone have been damaged. Undamaged schools are among the buildings being used as temporary shelters for the thousands of displaced people. Urbina Medina told CNN that no hospital in Venezuela was ready for an emergency as huge as the double earthquakes last week. No hospital in Venezuela is prepared for the day by day, Urbana Medina said. But with this catastrophe, it's worse because we don't have enough medicines, personnel, equipment here in Venezuela. Before the earthquake, the government generally defended its national health system as robust, blaming shortcomings on sanctions imposed by the United States. Sanctions. Interesting. Chat, sanctions. You're telling me that the U.S. forbid Venezuela from, making business with companies that would allow them to have, medical equipment. What else? Medicine. What else? Tell me. Equipment. Machinery that could have helped these people, be found under the rubble. That sounds pretty familiar, doesn't it? Other doctors who spoke with CNN had similar complaints. 8 hospitals in Caracas have been forced to close, and the remaining hospitals are overwhelmed with patients and lack of basic cleaning supplies, such as bleach and disinfectant, said Dr. Andres Cortiz, a volunteer with Healing Venezuela, a British charity that provides free medical care in the country. The World Health Organization said Tuesday that hospitals are under significant strain with overcrowding and chaotic service after 2 quakes. At least 3 health centers are critically damaged and 6 others are damaged or partially functional. A spokesperson for the UN agency, Christian Lindemir, told reporters. Other problems predate the earthquake, as Venezuela has sunk further into crisis over the past decade due to mismanagement by the socialist government and punishing U.S. economic sanctions. So here's right here. Interesting. It's socialism's fault, chat, by the way. Remember that. Write that down. And CNN had to add that in there. Even if Venezolanos agreed with that, I just hate that that's the first thing that they say. Oh, it's socialism. And then it's the US sanctions, okay? But mainly socialism, guys, okay? Believe us, it's true. Hashtag true. Urbana Medina has seen many qualified medical staff leave the country in search of better opportunities abroad. The same brain drain has affected Venezuelan schools, which suffered serious teacher shortages before the earthquake. Other medical personnel, I'm gonna sneeze, have been forced to leave more recently. Wow. Soon after then, President Nicolás Maduro was captured by the US in January. Venezuela ended Cuba's long-standing medical mission in the country. Not Venezuela, the US actually, but okay. Cutting off a key resource in underserved communities. You're telling me that they capture Maduro and stuff, and in the US plants their own CIA agent-controlled leader, and then she, for some reason, allows the US to cancel free medical aid from Cuba, because Cuba's also a socialist country, by the way, to punish its people. Huh. Very fucking interesting. Can you guys see, like... Sorry, I'm blowing my nose. Can you guys see the true underlying problem here? Let's look at this news report that they provide, because it's really good. Let me turn off the música, maestro. Let's see if you guys can even see this. There we go. Thank you. Commercial? God damn it. Fuck FIFA, man. Okay.
That's cute. I'm gonna be so big.
Can I skip this? No, I'm not allowed to skip it.
Is already here. Next starts now.
Okay, I thought it said 4. Oh wait, that's Hyundai?
So
well, fuck FIFA.
The plan of this 8-story building here in Caracas. They've broken it down into floors to get a sense of who lived in what floors. It tells you how many people have died, 12 people, how many people have rescued, 3 so far, 20 approximately families, people still missing here from this 8-story building in Caracas.
But over the last 2 days, no one has been found alive. Still, the rescue operations continue, and families wait for however long it takes.
Es desesperante porque de la misma forma que yo me siento desesperada, que camino, que tomo líquido, que me hidrato, ¿cómo estarán si están con vida de desesperado de salir de ahí?
It has been an agonizing wait for Mireya Herrera, who has been here every day longing for signs of life, waiting for her son, her daughter-in-law, and her granddaughters, both in their 20s.
Y siento que mi hijo es fuerte.
I need to fucking read this. I'm so sorry. I decided to take a little snack. But here, I'll read what she said again, because it's really important. She's reflecting on, you know, how she hydrates herself, how she drinks water, how even her, as of right now, is desperate, you know? is desperate for aid, and she can only imagine what her family members who are still under the rubble are feeling like. And that's why she's crying, and that's why she's emotional. And I broke it. I broke it the moment. Oh, it wants me to watch another fucking ad. I bet you. Don't do this. FIFA, please. You motherfuckers!
If you're looking for the future of football, it's gonna be...
No, I'm not. Fuck this. I feel like it's very important to hear the people talk about their experiences, chat. Because this is the only way you will be able to humanize people. And a lot of people are ignoring what's going on in Venezuela. I literally had 7 viewers and literally have, like, all of them dipped out. It's because we don't see people around the world as fucking human, man. We gotta be witness to their feelings and their stories, or else they're gonna continue suffering.
How many people have died? 12 people. How many people have rescued? 3 so far. 20 approximately families. People still missing here from this 8-story building in Caracas.
Okay.
But over the last 2
I'll read what she
days,
says.
No one has been found alive. Still, the rescue operations continue, and families wait for however long it takes.
It's maddening because in the same way that I feel desperate, I walk, I stay hydrated. I wonder how they must feel if they are alive. They must be desperate as I am.
Who has been here every day longing for signs of life, waiting for her son, her daughter-in-law, and her granddaughters, both in their 20s.
I feel that my son is strong. And I feel that he's waiting for me. That he knows that I'm here waiting for him. For that reason, I don't want to give up.
There's also fury from those who say that Venezuela was not prepared for a tragedy of this magnitude. It's certainly the case at the main pediatric hospital in Caracas. Right now, they're treating a 12-year-old girl for multiple and life-threatening injuries. ¿Cómo te sientes, mi amor?
How are you? How do you
Her
feel?
body in excruciating pain as she was crushed by the weight of the collapsed floors.
We could receive at least 10 patients here in this area, but since at least 10 years ago, we don't have enough personnel, we don't have enough medicines, we don't have enough mechanic ventilators, so we only can work with 4 patients here in this area.
More than 100 children have ended up here following last Wednesday's back-to-back earthquake, tells me Dr. Uñades Urbina Medina, who has been a pediatrician for 20 years. You're not prepared. Venezuela's hospitals are not prepared.
Are not prepared.
Never been prepared.
Any hospital, no hospital in Venezuela is prepared for the day by day. But with this catastrophe, it's worse because we don't have enough medicines, equipment, personnel.
The tragic consequence of years of crisis and mismanagement
Yeah.
now coming to the fore. Isa Suarez, CNN, Caracas, Venezuela.
So years of not having a stable, stable livelihood, stable economy, fucking leader that actually cares for his people, that will make sure that they're okay, and prepared for times like these. They don't even have enough medicine. Like the doctor said himself, they're not prepared for the day by day, okay? The best they can do is take care of 10 kids. And there's 100 of them already there. And many of them are still missing. This is by Code Pink, and this is an aerial view, okay, of what's going on, of what happened. Look at that. These are the buildings that were utterly destroyed by the earthquake right here, as you can see. That's crazy. These are like big buildings, man. I don't know, man. Shit. And the poor people themselves, man, are trying to get their loved ones out of these big ass buildings that are crushing them. How are you supposed to do that without machines? Like, you can see the people right there walking up there and climbing and everything, trying to find everyone who could possibly still be alive. It says right here, over 50,000 people are missing after Venezuela earthquakes. But look at here. It says the U.S. must lift sanctions now. Okay. Again, this word sanctions keeps popping up. Okay, Venezuela is facing the consequences of the U.S. imposed sanctions and, very important, the government corruption that has been going on for many years in Venezuela. Pero why? Why? At some point in this is like a quick history fact, Venezuela used to be a rich country, okay? A rich country that had success in its oil production. And people, and I know a lot of Latinos that have been brainwashed by, you know, pro-US propaganda. It's like, you know, especially me at some point. Hate Chavez because Chavez was one of those people who introduced socialism into the country, got all of the corrupt US leaders out of Venezuela, and you know, use the oil riches to help the people in Venezuela. He gave the people what they wanted, but the thing is, he didn't know how to use that money well. He literally spam-ulted on the oil and spammed giving money to everyone without having a backup plan, okay? If you're gonna waste a shit ton of money, you better have like a plan B just in case that money disappears. And it did disappear at some point. After Chavez died, the oil wasn't worth as much as it used to be at some point. So when Maduro came into power, well, he took over Venezuela that was basically bankrupt. But the thing is like, I'm not trying to make Maduro a fucking victim here. He ended up, instead of trying to help Venezuela, he ended up fucking taking advantage of it. Okay, whatever money did prosper from Venezuela, he used it on himself and political leaders, then the people of Venezuela. So let's look at a quick history lesson by Vox. The collapse of Venezuela explained, okay? And that says, lucha conmigo, fight with me. I spent the past months fighting for my family, for food, for the people. Tell me if this is too loud. By the way, always, I will always be on the streets, fighting for my kids' freedom. The violence of the government, the violence of the criminals, those are all reasons to go out and protest, to defend your rights and aspire to a better Venezuela.
Venezuela was once the richest country in Latin America.
This was 8 years ago, by the way.
It has the largest known oil reserves in the world, and its democratic government was once praised worldwide. But today, Venezuela's democratic institutions and its economy are in shambles. The country has the highest inflation rate in the world, making food and medicine inaccessible to most Venezuelans. Over the last 4 years, its GDP has fallen 35%, which is a sharper drop than the one seen during the Great Depression in the US. And the country's murder rate has surpassed that of the most dangerous cities in the world. These conditions have sparked months of protests against the president, Nicolas Maduro, and it's easy to see why. The country has become measurably worse since his election in 2013. A poll showed that about 80% of Venezuelans want Maduro removed from office. But instead, the opposite has happened. Maduro has consolidated his power, bringing the country closer to authoritarian rule. Maduro's political ambition became evident in December 2015. 2 years after he became president, a coalition of opposition parties called the Democratic Unity Roundtable, or MUD, won a 2/3 majority in the National Assembly, putting Maduro's rule at risk. In response, Maduro quickly forced out several Supreme Court justices and filled positions with cronies loyal to him. In March 2016, the court ruled to strip the opposition-led National Assembly of its powers, a move that sparked massive protests across the country.
Yeah.
The ruling was reversed a few days later, but the damage was done. Protests continued to grow and have left about 100 dead and thousands injured so far. Despite the violence and public outcry, Maduro held a vote in July to elect a new governing body called the National Constituent Assembly, which would have the power to rewrite Venezuela's constitution and essentially replace the National Assembly, and leave virtually no opposition to Maduro's rule.
So he's a fucked up guy, Chet. Why are you voting today? For the well-being of the country. What are you looking for in the Constituent Assembly? Well, peace for everyone.
With Maduro's recent vote, Venezuelans didn't have a say in whether the assembly should exist. They only had the option to elect its members.
Yeah, guys, that worked for him.
Hugo Chavez proposed a constitutional rewrite in 1999. He first called for a referendum to propose the election of the assembly. After most Venezuelans voted yes, they then elected a new National Constituent Assembly. See, unlike Maduro, Chavez was a charismatic and beloved leader. In the 90s, he burst onto television sets across the country. He blamed government corruption and Venezuela's elite for the economic inequality. His populist message resonated with the country's poor, who eventually helped bring him to power. The key moment in his presidency came in 2004 when oil prices surged. Venezuela's petroleum-dependent economy started booming, and Chavez went on to spend billions from the profits on social welfare programs for the poor. He subsidized food, improved the educational system, built an enviable healthcare system, and reduced poverty by more than half. These programs certainly helped the poor, but they served a purpose for Chavez as well. In order to be re-elected, he needed to keep these millions of poor Venezuelans happy, so he rigged the economy to do just that. He didn't scale back Venezuela's dependence on oil, and his unrestrained spending led to a growing deficit, which meant all these programs would be impossible to sustain if oil prices fell. After Chavez's death, when Maduro took office as his handpicked successor, that's exactly what happened.
Basically, he didn't budget. He wasted more than he could. Like, he was a good guy, he did the right thing, but he was an idiot as well. Like, he didn't budget. Helping the poor is always good, and this is why people keep saying that socialism ruined Venezuela. But no, not budgeting ruined Venezuela. That's what happened, okay? Not also making sure, preparing for shit, man. The Americans, okay, Westerners will try to demonize socialism and blame it on one guy being a fucking idiot. But he did the right thing. He improved poverty. Like, half of the people weren't in poverty anymore. You know, a bunch of social programs were being introduced. And he spent more than what he could afford. He didn't invest in other things. I'm sure Venezuela has more things that they could invest on, right? What about agriculture? What else can you invest in a country? For example, like, Japan sells more than electronics, right? Even Japan had a backup plan when the Strait of Hormuz was closed. They had at least like a year's worth of oil if anything were to happen as well. Like, this guy did not prepare for any of that. He just went crazy on the money. He put all his eggs in the oil basket. That's right. And then this fucking guy comes in, and, you know, I'm assuming at first he expected to have the same success, but once oil prices weren't, you know, it wasn't worth the same anymore, Maduro failed in trying to help the people and instead focused on saving his own ass.
Oil prices plummeted in 2014, and Maduro failed to adjust. Hyperinflation has made medicines and food that were once subsidized unaffordable for Venezuelans poor, who now make up about 82% of the population.
82?
Like
Jesus
Chavez,
Christ.
Maduro has also rigged the economy to keep himself in power, but this time it's not benefiting the poor. He's exploited a complex currency system put in place by Chavez. Maduro set the official exchange rate at 10 bolivars per US dollar, but only his friends and allies have access to this rate. In reality, the Venezuelan currency has become basically worthless. Most Venezuelans get their dollars on the black market, where the rate is about 12,000 bolivar per dollar. The military, which got complete control of the food supply from Maduro in 2016, is reportedly profiting off this currency crisis. They import food at Maduro's special currency rate and sell it on the black market for a massive profit. So for military generals and political allies of Maduro, the crisis has offered a lucrative opportunity which...
Food in the black market? What a fucking asshole. In the black market, you expect organs and shit and to be buying illegal shit. No, this motherfucker's using food in the black market. That's crazy. This guy's a piece of shit, chat. Maduro is a piece of shit. Good morning, Bacon Hamburg, Bacon Hamburg, Bacon Hamburg, Bacon Hamburg. I'm doing my political commentary today because yesterday and Tuesday I ended up skipping streams due to problems in real life. And I just really want to make sure I'm talking about Venezuela before I go on my indefinite hiatus on Sunday. 2 days from now, I suppose. And we're talking about Maduro, the earthquakes, and why Venezuela isn't prepared to face the consequences of these two mega earthquakes, 7.3 and 7.5 magnitude earthquakes that in the span of 39 seconds destroyed 800 buildings in 39 seconds. Can you believe that, Bacon? Can you fucking believe it? There's no machines that get people out of the rubble. There's There's no medicine. There's not enough help going in for Venezuela by its own government. The government's taking advantage of them or trying to hide these plain facts away from outside eyes. But why did it start? Well, look at Maduro right here. Before Maduro, Chavez invested in the people, rightfully taking care of the poor. But he spent all his money instead of budgeting. Venezuela, after he died, Venezuela went bankrupt, and then this motherfucker, this new guy here, Maduro, is like, you know what? I'm gonna keep all the money to myself and sell food in high prices to those who are starving in Venezuela, instead of, trying to continue to help the poor, just like Chavez did. He's an asshole. Chad, listen, I understand being pissed off at Trump kidnapping this guy. I understand that. But he's not a victim. He's a bad guy. Okay, this guy's an asshole. Just remember that, okay? Two things can be right at the same time. You can hate Trump for bombing Venezuela and kidnapping him, but you can also hate Maduro at the same time. Okay? That's insane. I know. It's very insane. And it's important that we talk about it, because not many people are, and these people are suffering, man.
Which has helped Maduro stay in power. But he can't rely on that support alone. Which brings us back to Maduro's recent power grab. The opposition boycotted the vote, but Maduro held the vote for a new constitutional assembly anyway, and won a majority.
Wow. So people don't have the right to vote.
After President Nicolas Maduro declares victory.
The violence on Sunday, very real. The bomb went off near some motorcycle police, wounding several.
Election day clashes between protesters and police, claiming at least 10 more lives.
At least one candidate has been murdered, shot to death.
The election of the National Constituent Assembly is a clear fraud. The world sees it. It's clear what has happened. Now we have to continue to look for freedom, because we have lived with freedom and we know what that is. What happened yesterday was the biggest fraud ever committed in a national election. It was an expected fraud. We already knew that the turnout would be low, but with participation forced by the government.
Maduro's government is trying to create the illusion of public support. The government claimed about 8 million people, or 40% of the country, voted. But
no, that's a lie.
Much lower, at just 3 million people. The international community, including Peru, Canada, Spain, Mexico, and Argentina, condemned the election. The U.S. imposed financial sanctions on Maduro and members of his government.
Now, here's a very important thing, by the way. You guys need to really focus on this part. So, obviously, Maduro's a bad guy. He rigged the elections. You know, he wasn't supposed to be reelected. Everyone boycotted voting. He still won anyway, somehow. He's like, yeah, I won, guys, Lamau. And obviously everyone knows that he was fucking lying, and that's why there was protests, and that turned pretty ugly. Now, the US used that as an excuse to impose sanctions on Nicolás Maduro, but eventually they would force those sanctions onto other things that would gravely affect Venezuela even more negatively than what was already going on. And I hope this video talks more about that, but we'll see. Let's see.
But Maduro's assembly, filled with loyalists, convened anyway, and it swiftly removed Attorney General Luis Ortega, leader of the opposition. Armed groups reportedly arrested several other opposition leaders too.
Wow.
Whether the group will rewrite the constitution or postpone the next presidential election remains to be seen. For now, Maduro
we know what happened,
but power over a country that continues to spiral out of control.
Every day is getting worse. If this man doesn't leave Venezuela, well, war, what we have is war. Yeah. So they didn't go into what these sanctions were, Chad. They didn't go into what these sanctions were. But don't worry, we ourselves will see what these sanctions are. Oh my, uruse, gomen. Sorry, this guy was so loud. I did not ask to see a Japanese commercial that quickly. So let's look at what these sanctions are, okay? So this is a website called globalsanctions.com. Makes pretty sense, I suppose, I hope. It's pretty self-explanatory here. Basically, they keep an eye of the global sanctions. I hope that makes sense to y'all. And this is Venezuela, okay, right here. There are no UN sanctions on Venezuela. The EU and UK have imposed sanctions on Venezuela since 2017. The US first imposed sanctions on Venezuela in 2005 in response to what the US said was Venezuela's absence of cooperation with the US anti-drug and counter-terrorism efforts. The U.S. imposes sectoral sanctions related to transactions with the Venezuelan government and targeted sanctions on those involved in actions or policies undermining democratic processes or institutions. Obviously, those are a lot of words, but we're going to look specifically at the U.S. ones. We already did, and here's like a little overview of the U.S. sanctions imposed on Venezuela. I could literally look at the thing right here specifically, but I have to subscribe, and I'm a broke bitch. I have no money. So we're gonna look at the overview here. U.S. sanctions, okay? The first one was in 2005. And the excuse was it was for the sake of anti-drug and counter-terrorism. Since then, the U.S. has made annual determinations that Venezuela has failed to adhere to its commitments under international narcotics and anti-terrorism agreements. Okay, that makes sense. I guess I mean, I guess that's fair. If only they would do that for, I don't know, a country that's committing genocide right now. What country would that be? Like, it literally commits terrorism every day. Especially on more countries other than Palestine. You know, like Lebanon or Iran or Syria. Anyway, in 2015, the Obama administration issued EO 13692, okay, which targets for asset blocking and visa restrictions for people and entities involved in human rights abuses and corruption. That's pretty good. That makes sense. That's fair. Again, none of the Israel baby killers are hit with this, but you know what? That's fair. That's still fair for Venezuela specifically. If Maduro was hit with that, because obviously he was doing a lot of illegal shit that was ruining Venezuela, that's fair. Government figures, including President Nicolás Maduro, were sanctioned in 2017. The U.S. issued further EOs in 2018 and 2019, which prohibited access to U.S. financial markets and blocked the property of interests of the Maduro government in the United States and within the control of U.S. persons. Okay. Financial markets means they couldn't do businesses with other countries, is from what I'm understanding, right? The U.S. has issued various Venezuela-related licenses and revoked licenses enabling oil business in Venezuela in March 2025. Since April 2025, any country that imports Venezuelan oil may be subject to a 25% tariff on its exports to the U.S. So if you end up doing trading business or buying business with Venezuela, especially if it comes to oil, you, the country that isn't, considered a country that supports terrorism all the time, you will be hit with a 25% tariff. And also, you can't make other forms of business with Venezuela specifically. It seems like they're saying that they're targeting Nicolás Maduro and his, evil gang of fucking assholes that support him into abusing their people and the money that belongs to their people. It sounds like they're trying to do that, but by limiting resources from outside the world, in a country that's already suffering from an asshole like being a dictator, will that help the people, chat? I don't think so. That doesn't really make sense. The people need, support. They need aid. Right? And in order to help them, you prevent aid from going into the country, basically? Think about that. These are big words, but that's basically what this is saying. Aquí, in December 2025, this was literally when I first started talking about Venezuela in my TamaTalks, because I couldn't believe my fucking eyes. The U.S. seized 2 oil tankers off the coast of Venezuela and ordered a blockade of sanctioned vessels traveling to and from Venezuela. In January 2026, Nicolás Maduro and his wife, Cilia Flores, were brought to the U.S. to face narco-terrorism charges. I like how they were brought to the U.S. like they willingly just went there. It's like, oh, come with us. Okay, we'll bring you over there. They forgot to mention that the U.S., bombed them, injured and killed around 200 civilians and other people as well, and kidnapped the president. Okay, they forgot to mention that very important part, but okay, very interesting. 4 other people, including Mr. Maduro's wife and son, were also charged with similar offenses. So this is a rundown of the sanctions that the sanctions that were imposed on Venezuela. So when we look at the CEPR, Center for Economic and Policy Research, again, they research this shit. They see if it's fair or not. And apparently they don't think it's fair. Look at this. It says the CPR calls for a full lifting of sanctions in responses to Venezuela earthquakes. So we saw doctors, we saw Code Pink, we saw a bunch of humanitarian organizations pleading to the U.S. to lift these sanctions because Venezuela is suffering right now from the aftermath of these fucking earthquakes. And they're begging, hey, lift the sanctions, let aid in, let them get the materials that they need to help these people. Let's read more on their request here. Washington, D.C. says the Center for Economic and Policy Research, CEPR, is calling for the U.S. and other countries to lift all sanctions against Venezuela in the wake of Wednesday's devastating earthquakes. The ability of governments, civil society, and individuals to provide funds and humanitarian support to Venezuela will be severely hindered while these sanctions still remain in place, CEPR experts warned. What the fuck? Again, how the fuck is limiting humanitarian aid going to help the people in Venezuela against a corrupt leader? How is that going to help the Venezuelan people? Does that make sense? That doesn't make sense. But the US and other Western countries want you to think that it makes sense. But in reality, it doesn't. How come these sanctions are still in place even after they captured Maduro? They kidnapped the guy. He's not the leader no more. Okay, they put their own leader in the government, and she's doing all of, everything that the US wants. They're sending all the oil to Israel and the US. So why are these sanctions still in place? It seems like the sanctions probably weren't for the sake of the people the entire time. It was just to destabilize a country and wait for the right moment to, overtake it by, bombing the shit out of it and capturing their leader and putting one in that will do all of their bidding. Very interesting, chat. Who would have fucking thought? We have seen in previous instances how U.S. sanctions have restricted and hampered earthquake relief efforts. CPR Director of International Policy Alex Main said, most immediately, the Trump administration can avoid the kinds of mistakes made by the previous administration, which is the Biden administration. They should call that shit out in the response to the Syria earthquake in 2023. When lives were lost due to Biden's administration... Oh, they did call him out. Thank you very much. Gracias. Thank you for calling out Sleepy Joe. When lives were lost due to the Biden administration's belated and limited sanctions waivers. The Venezuelan government must be free to receive and allocate earthquake relief and to send humanitarian support to those who need it. Current U.S. and other sanctions threaten to hobble the overall earthquake response. While the Trump administration has issued a series of general licenses to allow foreign businesses and banks to operate in Venezuela in spite of U.S. sanctions, really? Okay. The continued existence of these sanctions significantly discourages international economic and financial actors from expanding operations there. Jesus Christ. Research by the CEPR economists and other international sanctions experts has shown that overcompliance leads to sanctions having a harsher and broader impact than policymakers may expect, as aid groups, corporations, and other foreign actors pull back out of fear of running afoul of sanctions. So, like, other organizations and countries don't want to do business, don't want to help these people because they're scared that they might accidentally do something illegal. Well, illegal, considered illegal by the US, okay? To clarify. Despite the changed nature of the US-Venezuela relationship following the US abduction of President Nicolás Maduro amid a military raid on Caracas, the Trump administration maintains many sanctions that could hinder foreign aid and relief efforts. Similarly, the governments of the United Kingdom and Portugal should act immediately to secure the release of billions of dollars of Venezuelan assets. Wait, what? Why did I say assets? Assets held by the Bank of England and Novo Banco, so that these financial resources, which are the property of the Venezuelan state, can be deployed to support humanitarian and reconstruction efforts. Why do they have... Wait, what the fuck? I didn't know that. Why does the UK have... Why does UK and Portugal have fucking... Why do they have Venezuelans' gold? What? When was that a thing? Huh? They just have their money? Why? Just cuz? How do you even do that? What the fuck? Huh? Okay, fuck you, UK as well. I mean, always, but shit. What? And Portugal, fuck you as well? Wow. We must remember that Venezuela suffered the worst depression in the history of the world, without a war, due to illegal US economic sanctions. Oh shit. This was said by Mark Weisbrot, the CEPR co-director. IMF data shows a loss of 74% of GDP in 8 years. This deadly destruction was not a mistake. Wow. Oh man, they're calling them out. That's crazy. But an expected result that would happen to any country that was cut off by sanctions from the international financial system, and also from the vast majority of its foreign exchange earnings from exports. Wow. Tens of thousands and more likely hundreds of thousands of Venezuelans died as a result of those sanctions. Let's zoom in on this. The US is therefore obligated to help prevent further loss of life in Venezuela, he said. That's powerful. They literally just called out the US. And this is Center for Economic and Policy Research, guys. Okay? Jesus Christ. This is a network. Very trusted source here. They called them out. They called that shit out. They went all in with that. I'm not used to, these corporations calling shit out as it is. That's insane. Also, why the fuck does the UK have Venezuelan gold without their permission? I'm very confused on that right now, on how that happened, but I gotta investigate that on my own. I'm very surprised right now. So, I was gonna watch an Al Jazeera video, but I think it's I think it's too long. Let me see how long it is.
If you're a native or fluent English-speaking expat living in Japan and you're looking for a new online career that enables you to earn remotely...
Wow, this is so creepy. She literally targeted me specifically, and then after I said that, my phone died. I have ops. They're after me, chat. My phone died. What the fuck? She called me out. She was like, I know who you are. I know what you are. And then my phone died. That's crazy. What the fuck? Can I skip this? Please? So, I guess we can watch like 13 minutes of this. Okay, I guess that's not that bad. Let me remove this right here. Sorry, chat, my phone is dead. Ignore that, though. It's a good video. Basically, a bunch of experts, quote-unquote experts as well. They have all sides of the spectrum, okay? You got Venezuelans defending the sanctions that the US has forced on Venezuela. And you also have experts calling, describing how these sanctions negatively affect the people of Venezuela. I'm trying to charge my phone, but it's not charging. But let's play the video. I'll zoom in for y'all.
Hi, I'm Femi OK. Thanks for watching the stream.
Wow, it's so quiet. What the fuck?
15 years of Venezuela sanctions. How effective have they been and who's really impacted? Here's the former President Trump speaking on June the 10th.
Oh, by the way, this video is from 3 years ago, June 14th, 2023. So this is before anything, okay?
How about we're buying oil from Venezuela? When I left,
Jesus
Venezuela was ready to collapse. We would have taken it over. We would have gotten all that oil. It would have been right next door.
Okay.
Former President Trump saying the quiet bit out aloud. How impactful are
Jesus
a good
Christ.
policy tool, or do they just collectively punish an entire nations for the deeds of their politicians? That is what we're talking about today. On YouTube, we are inviting you to be part of the conversation as well. The comment section
we're
is
3 years
now
too late. We
live.
can't comment, but okay.
Meet our expert guest. Joining us from Denver, Colorado, Francisco Rodriguez is an
Hi,
economist
Francisco.
and professor at the University of Denver's Joseph Corbell School.
Oh, my phone's still not working. Okay, never mind.
Joining us from
Zoom in.
Montevideo, Uruguay is Tamara Teresic Boner, Director of the Peter D. Bell Rule of Law Program at the Inter-American Dialogue. And in Washington, D.C., Mark Weisbrot. Mark is co-director of the Center for Economic and Policy
There we go.
Research
Now I'm
in
working.
Washington,
I'm
DC.
alive.
So, Mark, in a sentence,
Okay.
15 years of sanctions on Venezuela.
15 years? Shit.
What's been the result?
Wait, if this is 3 years ago, then that means...
The biggest part of the result is...
15, it's been 18 years then, since the sanctions are still in place.
The worst decline in, the worst depression really in the history of Latin America, as Francisco will talk about. But I think also these sanctions are a form of economic warfare, and they mainly target the civilian population. And that's why they have an impact that's similar to actual wars.
Wait, what the fuck? What does that say? Let's move. Wait, the captions are in the way. It says, according to the Center for Economic and Policy Research, that's literally this, right? Yeah, this is this website, the CEPR, basically. The U.S. sanctions resulted in over 40,000 deaths from 2017 to 2018. In 1 year, the U.S. killed 40,000 people. Interesting, because they refused to let aid in. Okay. Okay. That is as much as, I mean, of course, there's more destruction done by the 2 earthquakes, but that is big numbers. What the fuck?
And a lot of people know this. Representative Jim McGovern, who was the chair of the House Rules Committee when the Democrats had the House, he wrote a letter to President Biden, and he asked him to get rid of these sanctions on Venezuela. And he said that the sanctions that they had were indiscriminate, and he said purposely so. So he
Wow.
explained how it was, as he said, the Venezuelan officials were not the ones who were suffering, but the people, and that was actually he explained how that was the purpose of the sanctions. And
That makes sense. Again, so Biden knew of this. This is why the whole Democrats are the good people and Republicans are the bad people and you should always vote blue no matter who bullshit is stupid. It's idiotic, okay? Biden basically obviously didn't remove the sanctions. We know that for sure now, because apparently the sanctions are still in place despite 2 earthquakes destroying Caracas in Venezuela. Okay, so Biden didn't do shit to fix this problem. And obviously Trump continued to make things worse. And obviously it wasn't for the people. Even experts are saying that they can see through the American bullshit. They're not trying to help the people. This is by design, okay? This is on purpose. They want to make these people suffer because the ones that were supposed to suffer, again, like Nicolás Maduro, that guy was still having the best time in his life eating empanadas on live television as people were protesting, okay? Outside and suffering and getting beat up and killed and shit. That guy didn't give a fuck. He was eating empanadas while people literally are in poverty and have no food. So how come all these sanctions are in place, but Nicolás Maduro was still happily eating empanadas as he took advantage of the Venezolanos in Venezuela? How does that make sense? I like that what this guy is saying, this guy with the glasses. Wait, there's 2 guys with the glasses. This guy with the suit. There's 2 guys with suits and glasses. This guy with the hair. There you go. Got him. I like what this guy with the hair is saying.
And that is the purpose, I think. And
Yeah.
It's illegal under treaties that we've signed, and it's terribly wrong.
Tamara, what's the purpose of the US sanctions for 15 years?
I think there are 2 important points to clarify. First, there are different types of
I
sanctions.
can't hear you, girl.
Those that are targeted against specific government officials have no impact whatsoever on the humanitarian situation. But I believe we're talking here, and what Mark was referring to is the economic sanctions that have an impact on the oil sector. And what we have seen is that there's a problem with overcompliance with sanctions imposed by the U.S. government that have made
Over
it harder for
compliance?
humanitarian aid to reach the country. However, I do think it's important to highlight that the humanitarian situation in Venezuela was pretty dire before the imposition of sanctions. Just look at official data by the health ministry published by the Venezuelan authorities in 2017 showed that the previous year, maternal mortality increased by 65% and infant mortality had increased by 30%. And these
Well, again, we just learned this, chat. We just fucking learned that the oil wasn't worth as much anymore, right? Therefore, when Maduro came into power, he was keeping most of that wealth for himself, okay? All of that wealth that was made by oil, that, obviously it wasn't enough to support the people, but instead of trying to fix the problem, he kept it all to himself. So again, she's trying to be like, okay, well, it's not the US fault, by the way. They were still having issues before the sanctions, by the way, okay? That's not really a fair argument because Maduro was still in power, and when this video was made, he was still in power and not suffering from any consequences. With or without the sanctions, he wasn't suffering much consequences until, he got kidnapped. So her defending the sanctions, I don't know if I don't know what she's trying to make with this stupid argument, but the problem here was Maduro, right? Taking advantage of the people. And he says he's a socialist. He obviously is not a socialist because he isn't trying to help the people at all. But, Americans and Westerners will do everything in their power to demonize the thought of helping the poor first instead of the rich.
Statistics, which had not been made public for a long time, were made public by a health minister that was quickly taken off office. So I do think we need to put the impact of the US sanctions in context in a situation that had been dire before and continues to be dire, in part due to overcompliance.
Well, they can help instead of
Tamara,
putting
on
sanctions.
YouTube, one of our viewers has piped up immediately and says, this is basically American economic coercion. What would you say back to them as they're watching right now? Is this American coercion? Is that the whole point
Coercion.
of sanctions on Venezuela?
That's a good chatter right there.
I don't think sanctions need to be or should be an end in and of themselves. They should be a tool to try to improve conditions in the country. Obviously,
but they
have
didn't.
An impact on the humanitarian situation and on the people. They have an effect that no one is going to support.
They haven't improved
However,
Venezuela at all.
The lifting of sanctions can be.
Look at Venezuela now. We're in the future, girly. They have nothing. Nada. The government continues to not help them. The people are excavating these people by themselves. Let's actually look at that. Let's actually look at this. With no support from the government itself, the people from Venezuela rely on themselves, chat, to save those still trapped under the rubble. Here, let's look at that right here. Aquí rescató a 9 personas con sus propias manos. He saved 9 people with his bare fucking hands, okay? With his own goddamn hands. Aquí, let's see.
Es la única que yo vi parada y mi familia toda está allá atrás. ¿Está claro? Tengo a mi mamá, tengo a mi hermana, tengo a mi sobrina.
Oh my god, okay. I see. Let's read this in English so I can translate it terribly English so I can read this faster. I'm not a rescuer, I'm not a firefighter, I'm not a paramedic, says this Venezuelan man who from the very first day of the tragedy decided to help save lives with his bare hands, with his own hands, okay? While trying to reach where his mother, his sister, his niece, his daughter, his wife, and other family members were trapped, he could hear the cries of people begging for help, pidiendo por ayuda, okay? Since he couldn't reach his own loved ones, he began rescuing those he could save. That's how he managed to pull 9 people out alive. If I can't reach mine, I'm going to save the people I can. Faith is the last thing to lose, goddammit. Whether help comes or not, we're going to keep working. There are heroes who don't wear uniforms. They just carry a hope that refuses to die. That's powerful stuff
tengo
right
a
there.
mi hija, tengo a mi cuñado, tengo a mi mujer. Todos se me quedaron ahí. Cuando yo
His
saqué
wife,
a 9
his
personas,
daughter.
apunté mano nada más. Y, ¿sabes? Yo no soy rescatista, yo no soy bombero, yo no soy paramédico, yo no soy nada de eso. Entonces saco gente de aquí, saco gente de arriba.
Everything I read is what he's saying.
El primer y segundo día, ya el tercer día, hermano, de allá
By
para
the third
acá,
day,
no he podido sacar nadie
I
con vida,
haven't been
pero
able
la fe todavía
to
la tengo intacta,
save other
de que sí
people
voy a
with
seguir,
life.
voy a sacar a mi familia y voy a sacar a la gente que necesitamos acá y
I'm
vamos a
gonna...
seguir dándole. Es frustrante porque no he podido llegar a mi familia, pero también Diosito me fue el que me dijo a mí, tenemos que ayudar a las demás personas porque mi familia, el edificio está así.
Okay. So he says he's still going to save his family. He's gonna do no matter what to save his family. But while he's doing that, he's also gonna save other fucking people. First time chatter. Oh, hi, Termi. It's nice seeing ya. Man, Venezuelans proving time and time again that they deserve so much better instead of being used as pawns for shitty politicians. That's fucking true. That's fucking true. From both sides, it's not only Venezuela, it's also the US. Not even both sides, from all fucking sides. Everyone. Todos. From the sanctions back in the day to the sanctions now, and the government's not helping them the way they should. And a lot of Venezolanos are really pissed off on Twitter, and I understand their anger because it's true, chat. It's very true. Like, a bunch of Westerners don't understand the severity of the corruption in Venezuela or in Latin American countries. Most of our leaders are corrupted, and it's a fairly new thing that people like. And I still don't fully trust Claudia, but the president, the first female president of Mexico, you know, she's doing social programs. She's trying to continue what was the previous guy name? Manlo? I forgot his name. But the previous president before her, he kind of started this socialist movement, and she carried it forward. It's gonna take time for Mexico to get better, for any of this to actually see fruition. And this is the first time where, for me in my lifetime at least, a Latin American country is going back to the socialist roots. Okay, I wasn't alive when Cuba did its thing. Obviously, Cuba is like the best example for socialism that, of course, was destroyed by the US themselves. And Venezuela could have had that still if only Chavez wasn't an idiot. Now, the thing is like, shit. When Maduro got captured by Trump, I saw that guy. I'm like, that's the empanada guy. I remember that motherfucker when I was a kid watching Primer Impacto. When I was a kid, seeing how corrupt he was as a leader. And Primer Impacto is a US based not Spanish, sorry, but a Spanish-speaking news outlet of Latin America. And Maduro would always be on there, chat, being a fucked up piece of shit while his people are starving. So when he got captured, of course a bunch of Venezolanos hated that guy. And for some reason, not for some reason, but these Westerners would take it to heart, be like, oh my god, don't they understand that Trump is the bad guy and US is the bad guy? Well, yes, fucking hell yeah, US is the bad guy. I hated that. I don't want the US touching Venezuela or any other Latin American country, because they ruin and destroy anything and they steal it. They stole the oil and they're sending it to Israel now, okay? Because they planned to attack Iran because they knew that the Strait of Hormuz was going to be closed. A huevo, okay? Whatever, fine. But it's pretty rude for Westerners to deny the feelings of the people that have been fucking suffering from their own government for years. And just because it's a fucking POC brown guy, whatever, doesn't mean that they're innocent, okay? You have to hold everyone accountable. And this is why I'm talking about Maduro, Chavez, and the US sanctions and what's going on right now. A lot of people cannot appropriately balance all of those situations and reasons as to why Venezuela is in the state that it is right now. A lot of people are honestly trying to be like a social justice warrior. I guess technically I'm trying to do that too, but like in a I don't think I'm being performative. I hope I'm not, but I do my best to not be performative. A lot of social justice stuff is performative, unfortunately, and that honestly hurts those who are suffering the most. You have to mean what you say. You have to research what you say. You have to try at least learn people's experiences and what their countries are suffering from. Hey, always lurking about... Oh, wait, let me see this emote. What's this emote called? Oh, always lurking about just don't chat much because it's usually crunch work time before I go to sleep. No worries. Thank you for the lurk. Oh, wow. No, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you for the lurk. I mean, compared to the rest of our leaders, she's at least trying to help people and continuing to help that what was set up before her. That's true. I'm too skeptical. Mi pa mi pa I learned all of my negativity of like these leaders from my dad, but he's in love with her. He loves her. I don't trust her, but you know, he's actually a real Mexican compared to me, who is like whitewashed. Like he knows more than I ever could. And if he sees hope in Mexico, well then obviously I trust my dad's opinion more than my own. I guess the Chile public transport and healthcare reforms is the closest we've seen, and that skyrocketed their quality of life, and it's bare minimum. No, yeah. Imagine the US who only has the New York train, right? That's it. That's crazy, man. I mean, I believe Mexico used to have a metro, or still has a metro, obviously, but it wasn't like a good one, and Claudia's trying to make a good one, I suppose. But now they voted for a nut job, so let's see if they keep these. That's also true, I heard of that. That's crazy. I mean, we can praise her work, but that's her job. Being skeptical is in our blood at this point with all the corruption, no? And it's true, chat. A lot of Latinos and Hispanics, and I wasn't born in Mexico, and I only stepped foot there like twice, okay? So I don't know if I deserve the title of Latino, since a bunch of them online keep denying that from me, but at least I can speak some Spanish, okay? Por lo menos. And at least I care about the politics of what's going on there. Por lo menos. I mean, at least as of right now. At least. Maybe back then I was super whitewashed, but now I'm throwing the US propaganda out of my head, right? But even as a kid, chat, like, that shit would hurt me. I know a lot of, like, American Latinos that, you know, whitewashed Latinos in America or any other Western country. They usually don't give a fuck about the countries that their families are from, you know? I don't think it's right that people have to, like, run away from their country for a better life. I think that there has to be a solution for something. You know, we can't just bask in, at least now, by we, I mean the whitewashed Latinos. Me. I can't just bask in my privilege of being a fucking American. And it's not even that great of a privilege. I can only travel wherever the fuck I want, but I don't have health insurance. I'm fucked for life when it comes to that. Well, if I move back. That's why I live in Japan now. But I think no, it's hard, Sha. Especially if you see your family suffering and, you know, having that sad phone call of someone dying due to drugs or corruption or violence or a government corruption, especially. Any of that, it's sad. It's sad having your family members who you barely even know or you do know still back there working for fucking less than $1, maybe $2 an hour. It's fucked, chat. It really is. Moving forward is what matters. All the info you share and the charity stuff you do is awesome. Well, I mean, if I had a bigger platform, it would be more awesome, but oh yeah, chat. Oh my god. Thank you for saying that, Termi. Chat, if you guys want to donate to Venezuela, please donate to the specific link I provided above. I couldn't find a trusted Venezuelano. I don't know which one I used. Venezuelan charity on Twitch that I could trust, other than like general charity organizations. So I just put a direct link to one of the main charities that people from Venezuela absolutely trust. A lot of many charities that are done by the government or controlled by the government are corrupt. They steal the money, chat. They lie about how many people are missing and or dying. and then they steal the money and don't help the people. So if you really want to help people in Venezuela, donating $1, $2, $3, $4, whatever you can will help these people. Look at this guy, man. He's saving other people while trying to fucking look for his family. Okay? And he still has hope. How come where's the military in Venezuela supposedly helping these people? How come this guy is doing it on his own? Hello? I keep seeing civilians helping and saving other people, but I'm not seeing the fucking personnel, the military dudes or whatever the fuck they are, doing that much as these civilians. No one is immune to propaganda. I can only imagine how much worse it is growing up in the US with so much propaganda. Yeah. No, the thing is like, if it was ingrained even in my family, like those who actually came from Latin America. Like even Latin America had propaganda instilled in them by the US somehow. And when I see the corruption, I hear everything on the TV in English saying that, Mexico is evil or whatever the fuck. Any Latin American is evil. And then my parents going like, it's true, lamau, lol. Then I go, okay, well, it's true. And then now, it took a while, but now dad is coming along. Le digo, gordo, ¿y Cuba qué? Lo que pasó en Cuba, todo fue una mentira, gordo. Lo que tú me dijiste, lo que los Estados Unidos nos dijeron, todo es una mentira, gordo. And then he's like, a ver. And then I show him one of a speech by Fidel Castro y then le digo, and then I tell him how Fidel Castro worked alongside of Nelson Mandela to liberate South Africa. And fucking hell, man. Todo eso, I didn't know, chat. I didn't know about Nelson Mandela and Fidel Castro being fucking so awesome, liberating South Africa from apartheid and then seeing how things ended up now, it's just so fucking sad. But a lot of more people are realizing it. Even my dad, and he's hella old. He's an old guy, man. It's crazy, but you need people to talk about it. Me and dad used to fight a lot, but now he listens to me at least more than he did before. So, it's important to talk about these things because you are going to be faced with propaganda, chat. That's the thing. You're going to be faced with propaganda. You won't even know it. Unless you educate yourself on the suffering of other people. You learn how it happened or why it happened, for what purpose it happened, and then you start connecting the dots like, Every little bit helps, pero sí hacemos lo que podemos con las plataformas que tenemos. Spanish, ha 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 ha. Every time someone from Latin America or from the diaspora says that Cubans need to rise up, I just go, do you like Mandela? You won't believe this. It's true. People don't even know that Mandela was considered a terrorist till 2009. So even the US didn't like Mandela, but to this day people still speak of him like he was like the most peaceful protester on earth. And it wasn't true. It wasn't fucking true. But going back to Venezuela, I went on a tangent there. Again,
mi familia está de este lado.
So he's describing the building. It's like tilted right here, and he says that his family is where his fingertips are. You guys can't see with my mouse. I'm sorry.
¿Sabe? Cuando yo llegué ahí me va a costar Dios y su ayuda. ¿Vea? Pero
For me to get here, it's going to take the help of a God to help me. Okay? But right here on top,
Estaba gritando gente que estaba por estos lados.
but where people were here on top, they were screaming for me. They were screaming for help.
Que es con la parte de aquí arriba.
Which is up here where I'm pointing at.
Si yo no puedo llegar a los míos, voy a sacar a la gente que yo pueda sacar.
If I can't get to mine, I'm gonna get the people that I can.
Ha sido bastante complicado y bastante complejo, pero bueno.
It's very complicated.
Y nosotros aquí vamos a seguir trabajando hasta
Yeah.
que podamos.
We can't afford to lose faith, and we're gonna stay here, continuing working to get the people out from the rubble.
Venga gente, venga o no venga ayuda.
If aid comes with or without aid, with or without help, we're gonna still try to save these people under the rubble. That's crazy, chat. This poor guy must be, look, he looks hella exhausted as well, and he hasn't even saved his family. He went to go save his family, but he heard people crying for help. He went to go save those people first. It's very important, you guys. If you guys can donate to the cause, to the people, please. I thank you for checking in. By the way, let me. The alerts aren't working. I don't hear them. My bad, y'all. So yeah, any help helps. If you guys can donate anything, please go to the link in the pinned. And this is, the link goes to Caracas, Venezuela. I think that's what it's called. Caracas, Venezuela. And, Caritas. I'm stupid. My bad. Caritas, Venezuela. Let me show you guys the website here. Pastel. Boop. Aquí, Caritas Venezuela. Ayúdanos a ayudar. Help us help. Tú puedes ayudar a sostener el trabajo que Caritas de Venezuela realiza mediante el esfuerzo de más de 30,000 voluntarios que prestan sus servicios a la población más vulnerable en toda Venezuela. So yeah, if you donate here, you're going to help a bunch of like over 30 million volunteers who literally volunteered to help the most vulnerable parts of Venezuela, especially right now, the earthquakes in Caracas, those who are suffering from the earthquakes. So please donate to them. Now, here's another example, by the way, of people themselves helping rescue their own people from under the rubble. So aquí it says, this is from CBS News, by the way. It says, Javier Daza, a Venezuelan firefighter helping recover victims from the rubble of the devastating twin earthquakes, tells Camilo reports that some victims have been located and identified, but their bodies still can't be recovered because they remain trapped beneath reinforced concrete. With buildings still shifting, no heavy machinery, and limited lighting after dark, crews say they are unable to reach many victims. Okay? Thank you for checking in, Angry Demon Noises, by the way. Muchas gracias. It's nice seeing you, by the way. And also on Andre, hi, by the way. I'm so sorry. I'm doing such a terrible job reading chat. It's not making noise, huh, y'all? It didn't make any noise. Usually it makes a da-da-dum noise, and that's how I notice when you guys are here. From what I understand, a lot of buildings collapsed but didn't destroy the buildings below them, right? So there's a lot of people between buildings that collapse into each other. Yeah, yeah. Oh, thank you for the heart, Tama love emote. Thank you, thank you. This is your first chat? Angry Demon Noises, I feel like I've seen you before, though. How is this your first chat? Do you lurk? Well, I don't know. I feel like I've seen you a lot. Maybe PC rerouted the audio, or if it's through OBS, sometimes you need to reset the source's audio. Yeah, sometimes when it does that, I just let it do its thing. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Yeah, I just comment on YouTube, lol. Oh, really? Ah, okay, I see. I was like, I know I've seen you before. What the hell? I know you. Ah, in the YouTube comments, yes, I know you. Oh, wow. Is this your first stream? Okay, I remember, yeah, talking to you in my, in one of my shorts and also in one of my uploads on YouTube. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you very much. Gracias, gracias. Yeah, audio rerouting is a mystery. But yeah, let's to go here with Venezuela. They don't have enough machinery, which is crazy. I don't understand how. Even still, I don't know. It just stresses me out just thinking about it. This was yesterday for me, by the way. They still don't have machinery. It's been like 8 days. It's been over a week. What day is it today? It's already the 4th. Okay, this happened like a few hours ago, this specific video. I've had other streams open, but can't get caught chatting at work. Ah, no problem. Don't chat then. Oh my god. Don't worry. Don't chat shit. Wait, no, don't shit, but like shit. No, wait. Okay, you get what I mean. Okay, let's hear what this guy has to say. If he speaks Spanish, I'll read the captions.
Is overwhelming. It's a combination of debris, smoke, and death. In this building behind us, local residents are trying to recover and retrieve the bodies of people killed by those two devastating back-to-back.
I can barely hear him.
They tell us they know where the bodies are in that building, but they cannot retrieve the bodies because they lack the heavy equipment to do so.
How's the process of getting them out of the building? Very difficult. Because the structure has continued to collapse, and more parts of the building continued to fall. We stopped rescue operations at 6 p.m. because there isn't enough light here. 18 hours, that's crazy. And working with small flashlights isn't enough. It doesn't help us. It's difficult. Yes, without proper lights it's difficult. There are bodies you've been able to locate and identify here, but you still can't recover them. Why can't you get them out? Because of the amount of debris covering them. Also, these buildings, because of the way they were built, collapsed in a way that trapped people between concrete slabs and walls. And cutting through a concrete slab is extremely difficult. This is what Dermi just said earlier in the chat. Because of the reinforced materials inside. Why is it so important for you to recover the bodies? Because our people love their families. People want to bring their loved ones home so they can give them a proper burial. Yeah, that's fair. Of course, duh. Shit. Ay. Right now, at this point, a lot of them are just trying to search for bodies, man. And again, it's been 8 days since the fucking earthquakes happened. Man. So right now, it's most likely that they're just looking for bodies. That's really sad, chat. Again, the best time after a tragedy like this, especially earthquakes like this, we read earlier, it's around 72 hours, chat. 72 hours for the critical period to be able to save someone trapped under the rubble. And it's been 8 days, man. 8 days. Boss makes $1, you make a dime, watch streams on company time. True. A ver, aquí también, right here. So here's proof of, it says right here, look. I don't have any more words to explain how useless the military is in Venezuela. Even during the biggest catastrophe in our history, just watch for yourself. We literally see a video of Venezuelan military aid people, supposedly, just chilling, just chilling with clothes, instead of like going out there to fucking get people out of the rubble. They're just like, here, have some clothes, and just chilling on a bed of clothes. Look at this shit. They're just, look at them, they're just chilling there. Like, what the fuck? They look like kids too, fucking hell. Yeah, we saw many examples of these people, of the people themselves, digging out people without the government's help. Okay, they're doing it all on their own. These guys are pretending that they're helping and taking selfies and shit, and, sending it to US media outlets, Western media outlets, to be like, yeah, they're doing everything in their power to help these people because, yeah, Maduro isn't in power, lol, Trump is good. Either way, with Maduro or without Maduro, it would have been bad, but obviously we gotta call out things for how they are ahorita, right now. And right now, it ain't good. It ain't good. It's so heartbreaking to think about how many more people they couldn't save if outside help wasn't locked by sanctions and the government moved quicker. Both the Venezuelan and the U.S. Since they'll invade and occupy, might as well make themselves useful. No, yeah, they are going to invade and occupy. And here's the reason why we say this, okay? The Venezuelan government, we just saw the Venezuelan government personnel right here just chilling and not doing much. But word is going around, chat. It's going around that the government is now kidnapping the people who are exposing their incompetence to the world. The people that are saving other people while trying to look for their own loved ones. Okay? They're kidnapping them and disappearing them. Okay, let's look at this right here. So, this is in, well, I found one in Spanish, but I also found this person speaking about it in English. This is by Perry Onions. They say, the regime has kidnapped Wilmer. Him and his team saved at least 60 people alive and recovered hundreds of bodies from the rubble. The regime is now disappearing Venezuelan rescuers. Please don't forget about Venezuela. Devuelvan a Wilmer. Bring back Wilmer. Return him. And basically she translated what this person said. Let's see what he has to say aquí. What's your name? Wilmer Antonio Cruz. He's saying, how is it possible that we are supposed to get rid of all of this with our hands? Please, the government, please, what we need is a fucking machine. Whatever we can. What's your name? Caribe. Yeah, record so you can see the machine that they have. This is the situation in Guaira. We're not gonna lose hope. We're poor. We don't have risks. But I don't even have the strength or the money that we need. But at least send a fucking machine to this country. That's crazy. That's true. Where is the fucking government? Where the fuck are they? And when he said, yeah, record the machine that they're using, he's being sarcastic. The machine he's referring to is the fucking shovels in his hands. Okay? Ay. And he disappeared. What happened? Where is he? He saved 60 people. ¿Qué hicieron con el señor Cruz? What did they do to Cruz? He disappeared. Where is he? He's gone. He saved 60 people alive and recovered hundreds of bodies. Okay? He's been begging for machines. Okay? He's not losing hope. He just wants a goddamn fucking machine to enter the country, to be able to rescue these people more easily. So what does the government do? They kidnap him. We don't know where he is right now. Where is he? Where's Wilmer? And what's even more terrifying about this is that there's other countries now entering the U.S. Not the U.S., dumbass. Sorry, Venezuela. There's other countries entering the... Fuck, I said it again. Fucking dumbass American brain. My bad. There's other countries entering Venezuela, especially the U.S. They're sending their troops to, quote-unquote, help Venezuela in need. Okay? And this is resulting in suspicious activity. Of course, it's good that the U.S. is helping these people. Of course. But one has to think, well, what's the catch here? What's the catch? What's going on? A ver. Sorry, I have allergies. My nose is itchy. Oh my god, did they delete this tweet? A ver. Ah, aquí está. So this is some random dude talking about it. It says Venezuela has a massive earthquake hit the country right after their president is kidnapped. Again, this is kind of cringe. It's not important that the president got kidnapped, but it's more important that the U.S. is trying to invade the country, very obviously. I just don't like this constant representation of Maduro being a fucking victim. I really don't. The U.S. sends its military, NGOs, and the Clinton Foundation in to offer humanitarian aid, in quotation marks. And suddenly, thousands of kids go missing. Yes, chat. Not only are people who are saving those who are trapped under the rubble and recovering bodies quicker in desperation, of course, rather than the Venezuelan government doing that, but once foreign aid comes in as well, thousands of kids are going missing in Venezuela. Now, it says right here, this is disaster capitalism setting up Haiti 2.0. Haiti also had massive earthquake, over 10 years ago? And the U.S. sent their humanitarian aid in. You got a bunch of artists, raising up money for Haiti. But look at Haiti now, still the poorest country, one of the poorest countries in the world. All the money, where did it go that was donated to Haiti? It went to corporations that were working in Haiti by the U.S., okay? All that money is disappearing and going to corrupt politicians and those working in the U.S. The same thing might happen, well, I don't know, most likely will happen to Venezuela. And at this point, it seems like they're also kidnapping children and disappearing them as well.
Then the United States pledges to give aid to a country they've been actively trying to destroy. Yeah. And all of a sudden, thousands of kids have gone missing. Now, I've talked in another video about how bizarre the timing was of these particular earthquakes in Venezuela, and how bizarre, even more so, it was that the United States just jumped at the opportunity to offer its help. Just hours after the earthquake in Venezuela hit, the United States was pledging $150 million in aid and pledging to send troops to help with the rescue effort.
That's the thing. That's the issue here. The troops to send, to help. I think sending aid is good y todo eso is fine. But what happened in Haiti, they sent the troops in and they sent a shit ton of money in. There's no money. Haiti's still in poverty. And the U.S. is at war with Haiti gangs all the time because the Haiti gangs can see the corruption and they're trying to fight against the government that is being controlled by the U.S. So this is most likely going to happen to Venezuela again.
If you're confused by that response, it's
Hi, Tom and chat. Hi, Spectre.
Because this is the same United States where George
Wait, this fucking music. Wait.
Put Venezuela on the state-sponsored terrorism list because Chavez refused to endorse his illegal wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, which of course led to sanctions. The same Venezuela in which Barack Obama put 7 of their officials on the sanctions list.
Wait, the officials being put in the sanctions list is good, by the way. I'm sorry. Again, Maduro's not a victim. These leaders are corrupt. Okay? Let's not be too Western here.
Claiming that Venezuela was quote-unquote a threat to national security. I mean, Trump comes in 2017 and imposes even more.
See, he needs to not focus on the fucking politicians getting the sanctions. He has to focus on the economic aspect of it. That the people of Venezuela cannot receive aid. Okay, that's the important thing here. Not the fucking the politicians are the assholes. Okay, that will always be a thing. That's fine. But these sanctions have restricted aid from entering Venezuela, other countries doing business with Venezuela, and thus making Venezuela unprepared for a catastrophe as big as these earthquakes. I hate it also when they use disasters as an excuse to create conspiracy theories. We don't need a conspiracy theory to know that the US uses military help to also meddle in a country's politics and suck all of the aid for shareholders and corrupt politicians in their payroll. Yeah, I didn't really watch this. I really hoped he would be more informed, but
not to mention
it's good for me to correct some of the things he's saying. Oh yeah,
fishing boats.
Yeah,
while claiming that they were trafficking drugs, when in fact there has been
there's no proof of that.
Not to mention all of the stolen capital and assets. Venezuela has laws directly because of the United States. In fact, the Center for Economic and Policy Research estimates that there have been 40,000 Venezuelans who have passed away.
Yeah, we researched that. That is legit.
2018 and 2019 alone. So color me
we saw that.
When all of a sudden, the United States pretends to care when Venezuela has a destructive earthquake. Pardon me for being a little suspicious. So boom,
yeah, me too.
The Clinton Foundation announces that they will be involved in the relief efforts in Venezuela. Y'all remember what happened the last time the Clinton Foundation was involved in a major relief effort?
Haiti.
After a destructive earthquake? That was Haiti. How did that go again? Then Israel. Yes, the same Israel whose embassy Chavez banned for their actions in Gaza.
He's cooking here.
All of a sudden willing to help pull kids and search for kids under the rubble.
Yep.
Y'all don't have enough kids to pull from under the rubble in Gaza?
True.
Because of all the destruction that y'all caused? We're supposed to pretend Israel's intentions are genuine and not insidious at all? And now, thousands and thousands of kids have gone missing. And not just like we don't know where they're at because they're stuck under the rubble. There are situations in which
no, it's true. He's not lying. This is not a conspiracy theory. We have people from Venezuela, okay, telling news outlets, and this is in Spanish, but this is translated. I'll read it as she's saying this.
I am Noraima Perez, a waitress at the Camurive Clinic.
Oh wait, she's speaking in English.
My 4 children are missing. My daughter Aranza Lopez was taken out alive, but they took her out with a last name that is not hers. Aranza Vergara appears in Social Security. I have looked for her in all the hospitals in
Oh, ew, this is fucking AI generated. They translated it. I can see the AI shit right there. Fuck, ew. Here, I'll just read it instead. They changed my daughter's last name and now she is gone. They are stealing the children. They are taking the children who are found alone. A desperate mother says her daughter was rescued after the earthquake, but when she went to claim her, she was allegedly told the child's last name had been changed. The little girl has since disappeared. She claims that many children found alone are being taken with their identities altered. And this isn't like the only source that I saw. There's many people. I should have fucking done a better job of putting these sources on here. I should have made sure this wasn't a fucking shitty AI translate video, but whatever. Yeah, they're kidnapping children, they're changing their names, and most likely trafficking them. That's the thing, chat. That's the thing. And Israel is really well known for doing that. Which is why all of this is scary. It's not really too much of a conspiracy theory. It's just it's scary shit.
Or writing their names in these humanitarian centers to account for the fact that they've been found. And those same kids then come up missing, can't be found in hospitals, even though everybody saw them when they were rescued. No one can find them. This Venezuelan mother even says that they went out of the way to change her daughter's last name to make it even more difficult for them to find her. So once again, the United States pretending to be super concerned with the country they've been trying to destroy and destabilize. Isn't suspicious to y'all? NGOs that have historically engaged in disaster capitalism, that have also been part of relief efforts in countries where they go in and kids and people go missing, taking interest in Venezuela, doesn't bother y'all? You don't have to be a rocket scientist to do the math here. It's the Epstein class. They gonna do Epstein class shit. And that's what we're seeing. And it's time for us to call it out.
Oh shit, sorry, that fire freaked me up. I mean, it's more that the US is trying to just occupy Venezuela, but I can totally see them using Israel to just do child sex trafficking. That is a very high possibility as well. And it's very scary when I started hearing those stories of like kids having their fucking last name changed and then disappearing immediately after that. Also seeing that rescuers themselves who have been helping people without the government's help, but asking the government for help, those people are fucking disappearing. They're kidnapping people. Okay, here's a post showing that there has been reports of children going missing after being rescued. One mother found out her daughter's last name was changed and lost track of her, and I pray she finds her because the presence of those baby killers in Venezuela is a horrifying omen, just as it was for Jamaica. So this person is from Jamaica, and even and they speak on Congo. Actually, I follow them on my personal Twitter. I should follow them on here too. But yeah, Israeli people have been found in Venezuela. Israeli soldiers have been spotted in a hotel in Caracas today. This would be the first Israeli presence in Venezuela since Venezuelan leader Hugo Chavez kicked out all Israeli diplomats from Venezuela before cutting all relations with Israel in 2009 because of its war on Gaza, okay? They're gonna demonize Hugo Chavez, but he saw Israel's bullshit from a mile away and banned them, okay? All of a sudden, they're back in. Okay, all of a sudden they're in Venezuela because they care about children. They kill children for funsies. Okay, I don't know. And you know what? Israel is known for stealing internal organs of children, of innocent Gazans, of innocent Palestinians. God forbid they have their hands on a child. They're gonna kidnap these children and steal their organs or something. They've already done that to Palestinians. I'm sure they're going to do it to Venezuela or even worse, okay? It's terrible. They can use the children that go missing to inflate the numbers to justify their invasions. They're trying to bring up their falling reputation. Yeah, they are, but also while kidnapping them, I don't know. It's just a scary thing, chat. They're not supposed to be there, but they're there. There's a catch. There's always a catch. And it's a horrifying one. Venezuela, as it is right now, they're gonna suffer even more, and it's really sad. Because all of these countries are taking advantage of it by supposedly helping, but also silencing those being criticizing the government's lack of help. Also not doing anything about the kidnapped children, and also not helping volunteers save people. There's still sanctions in place. What the fuck? So Venezuela is going through a lot, and they're possibly going to suffer a complete takeover by the U.S. and its allies. I mean, their own government continues to not help the people and doing everything in its power to take advantage of them. Still, even without Nicolás Maduro, to the point of kidnapping and disappearing good people while their own military does nothing. If you are able to donate, please do not donate to the Venezuelan Red Cross. Okay? Again, do not donate to Venezuela's Red Cross. They work for the government. They are known to steal funds. They are known for lying about numbers. Okay? They work with the government and make a profit to make themselves look good. Donate to Caracas, provided in the link in the description or in the pinned, and other charities that have been approved by the Venezuelan people themselves. Okay, I was going to play the quarry, but chat, it is 2 a.m. and I'm too tired. I guess, how long have I been talking? I started at 11:30. Oh, 2 hours and 30 minutes, almost 3 hours. I wanted to do at least one TamaTalks before my indefinite hiatus. Things are going not well for me IRL, and I have to focus on IRL things for now. And so, but I wanted to talk about Venezuela before I went on a hiatus. I hope to whoever watches this is willing to donate to them. Again, a link is in the description or in the pinned. And yeah, any amount helps. Keep talking about Venezuela. Keep talking about the corruption from all sides, not only the U.S. but also by the Venezuelan government, and help find these people who are going missing, these children who are going missing, and urge for actual help to help Venezuelans get machines in there, get medicine in there. Make sure that all of the financial aid that the U.S. is supposedly giving to Venezuela actually goes to the people and not to American corporations like it did in Haiti. Okay? It's important to talk about this, and I hope you guys learned something new, and I hope that you guys were encouraged to help these people, and if not help, also, talk about the situation going on there. But I gotta go to bed, man. I'm too exhausted and tired, okay, y'all? Wishing you the best. You got this. Thank you, Termi. Thank you for joining. Also, thank you for Angry Demon Noises as well, for letting me know you're here as well. And you too, Termi. Wait, I just said that. And also to everyone who was lurking and chatting or who checked in, thank you for being here. Tomorrow, I'm going to play 1 hour of chill God of War, and then after that I'm going to do another big collab of Mecha Chameleon, this time with people I know, this time with people who are my friends, my VTuber friends, streamer friends in the community. There's going to be around 7 people, I believe. 6, 7. Oh my god, no! 6, 7, 6, 7. No! No! I did it! Oh fuck! 6, 7, 6, 7. No! Ah! Shit. I walked into that one. That's on me. That's fuck. I also have a 6, 7 emote, by the way. If you guys subscribe. But before subscribing to me, donate to charity. I don't need the money. I do, but not as much as those who are actually suffering. Let me see. I'll 6, 7 myself. There it is. 6, 7, 6, 7. Shit. Anyway, thank you for joining TamaTalks. This is the last TamaTalks before I go into an indefinite hiatus. I think I'll be gone for around a month or 2, hopefully less, but yeah, things are not going well, so it might be longer than a month, okay? But please join me in having fun tomorrow in a big fun collab with my friends, okay, y'all? See you. Bye-bye. Adios.
TV.